This conference will now be recorded.
So we started discussing about iterator, generator, closure, and decorator. What do you mean by iterator? Any idea? Just for recap. What is the difference between your iterator object like a list or a tuple or any string versus iterator object? What is the difference? Giri and Avani. Do you remember or forgot?
No, forgot.
So in iterator object, when you're converting any iterator object as an iterator, just to give a recap, not a full-fledged subject, it's we have already recorded session. So when you have any iterator object and converting as an iterator, you can able to utilize that particular data only once. You can refer the data to some other variable, or you can able to print, or you can do some kind of, you can perform some kind of operation only once. From the second time onwards, it will start giving an error, or it will give an empty one. So that is thing called, that concept we call as iterator. And generator, in the sense, generally when you're using any function to refer that function operation, we use a return statement. When you use a return statement, so here an example like function and return of x. The x is nothing but after performing multiple operation within the function, the outcome we'll call it as an x in the current example. So when you use a return of x, system assumes that the programming is completed, the function programming is completed, and it is going to be terminated if you have further programming. So to avoid that, and if in case you want to use the subsequent program without termination, and you want to refer the value multiple times to an object, then you are going to use generator. The generator will create only when you have a yield concept. So here an example, we are trying to return n value multiple times from the function to an object. So that object name we called as a generator object. And instead of using a return statement, we are using a yield statement. Yield n, yield n, yield n. 3 times I referred. So instead of terminating the first time itself, the entire program and updating the value, it is just passing the program. And when I use yield for loop or a nest statement, system automatically generating the subsequent program. You can see here, print nest of a, print nest of a, print nest of a. First time it's printing the first yield, second time is printing the second yield n, and third time it's printing the third one. It's not terminated, it's just passing the program. And when you're using a nest option, system automatically using. Amara, why should I enter 3 times nest a? Then better to use for loop, like for p in a, print p. You have 2 options. That is called generator. These examples, the last class we discussed. Now the next one is closure. So generally closure is nothing but when you have a nested functions, then the closure concept will come to the picture. So display function, and within the function of function, if you have a subsequent another function called sub function, then the closure concept will come to the picture. So display function is an enclosing function, and display show is a nested function. So within the function we have a show function. Now to say this is a closure concept, we have some criteria the functions has to meet. The first criteria is the enclosing function, and there should be a minimum 2 functions. One should be an enclosing function, one is a nested function. That is my first criteria. Second criteria is nested function must refer a value of enclosing function. That means the show function should refer at least one value from the function of function, nothing but enclosing function. Finally, enclosing function returning the nested function value. So the operation whatever you did in show function, the operation value should refer to function, nothing but enclosing function. So if you feel confusing, what I can do is, it's a paint, or you can use something like print for making you better understand. Finally, enclosing function returning the nested function in the sense the show operation. When you perform the show function, you're getting some outcome. That outcome, your print function has to be performed, or it has to be referred. The second one is nested function must refer the value of enclosing function. That is the thing what I told you. Sorry, nested function is nothing but the value what you're passing to the print statement should be referred to your show statement also. Not statement, function. Are getting my 3 points? What I'm trying to say? That there should be a nested function, within the function another function. Second one is the major function or a mother function, whatever you have it, the value should be referred to your child function. And third one is the child function operation, whatever you have it, that value has to be written to your main function, nothing but a print function. Is it clear? These three concepts has to be there to say closure. So here an example, closures in Python. Defining a normal function by satisfying the following rules is known as closure function. Must be a nested function, within the function another function. Nested function must refer to a value of defining in enclosing function. The enclosing function must return to the nested function. Now I want to do multiplier. So make multiplier of n. So define multiplier of x. So I am passing n to multiplier, make multiplier, and within the make multiplier I have one more function called multiplier. So I am passing another value called x. So make multiplier is my enclosing function. Within that I have sub function called multiplier. So that is my nested function or sub function. Now within the sub function return x multiplies n. So my second statement, the value what I'm passing to the enclosing function is referred to my sub function or a nested function. I'm passing that. Now after once I return this value from the multiplier, I am returning the same value to my enclosing function. So return multiplier. So the same value I'm returning. That means the child function, whatever I have it, the value whatever I have will be referred to your enclosing function. So return multiplier. So three points has been satisfied. I call it as a closure function. Function. Now I want to perform some operation on this. So this is the functions. Within the function another function is created. So nested function is created. Now I want to multiply the dice 3 times. So just I created an object called times 3. It's just like x and y. It's just one more object is created equal to make multiplier of 3. So 3 is created. So make multiplier of 3 is, what happened to my system? Okay, is n value is 3 and I'm passing this n value 3 to a function enclosing function called make multiplier. The entire object is saved to times 3. So multiplier of 3, just I'm using multiplier of 3 here. Enclosing function is returning the times 3. Times 3 can be used for nested function name, so I used it. Now Now when you say print type of times 3, this object will behave like a function. Behave like a function. You can see the class is a function. Now I am creating another object called times 5. So make multiplier of 5. So my n here is 5. My n is here is 5. So this is also nothing but a function. I am taking multiplier of 5. Now I want to pass an x value. I want to pass an x value to a multiplier. Nothing but nested left. So I cannot able to go to multiplier and pass the x value, but I can able to pass with the help of this enclosing function. Nothing but make multiplier. So what I'm doing is print times 3 of 9. So times 3 is nothing but make multiplier of 3. Nothing but n is a 3. Next to that there is a open and close bracket. I'm entering some number called 9. So this 9 is nothing but x value and 3 is nothing but n value. So 3 into 9 it is going to be a 27. Similarly times 5 of 3, 5 is nothing but n value and 3 is nothing but x value. So 5 into 3 is going to 15. And times, and I can do multiples of that. So it's not only that I can take a function only one time, so I can able to execute only once. So here you can see times 5 of times 3 of 2. So from close bracket to open bracket it will come. So inner loop is 3 into 2 6, 6 into 5 30. So the outcome is going to be 30, inner to outer. So this is the way the closure works. And the problem statement what I given to you can be addressed with the help of functions, and that functions you can take it as a closure functions. Or did you already completed? Any questions on closures? The next concept is
No.
called decorators. This is the final concept in Python. Um, iterators, generators, then closure and decorators. These are the 4 concepts generally we use it when it comes to embedded or web-based concepts, but not in data analytics. Hardly, you can say very hardly we are going to check it out. It's not mean that you are not going to use. Very rare scenarios you'll use. Now when it comes to decorators, decorators are nothing but you're passing one function to another function and get a different value. So decorator takes the function, adds some functionality and return it. So I'm passing one function of A to another function called B, and the B will do some kind of operation and it will give a different outcome. So the decorator in a Python is a particular form of a function that takes a function as an input and return a new function as an output. So one function is going to be input to the function, and the outcome of the function is going to be a function. So you can see here def display function. So here instead of entering x value, I've just used another variable called function. So this is the enclosing function def inner. So display is going to be my outcome, def inner is going to be my nested function. Within the function another function, sub function. Print hello type of function, and I'm going to be execute that function. Return inner. Return inner is going to be completed. So my first function, nested function, is completed. Now I have another function called def show. So print hi. So this is one function. Inner is going to be executed, and this is another function. Def show is completed. Now execute show. When you execute show, hi will be displayed. high is displayed. Now what I'm doing is display. I'm executing my nested function. So display in a function in a variable called func. I'm passing show. So when you pass the show, I'm saving to a new object called test. Here test can be used as an inner function name. So I'm passing it. So when you execute test, so what system will do is system is going to be pass this function show here, and it is due to inheritance. It will pass to your nested function, nothing but sub function df inner, and it is going to be print hello. Hello is executed. Print type of function. It's going to be show class function. Function is going to be the show only. So here func is nothing but show. So type of show is going to be function. So it's going to be display as function and execute function. So when you execute function, system is going to display print hi. So it's printed hi. So within the function, you are creating another function and you are passing one function as input, and the outcome can be different. Here my input is only hi, but my outcome is hello class and hi. So some operation I'm doing and my outcome is going to be a different function. Hope you're clear. Any questions? Amini or
No more.
No.
so the next concept is called how to read a CSV file or an Excel file. So I'm not talking about pandas still by using standard libraries. So a common separated value file allows a data to be saved in a tabular structure with a .csv extension. The CSV module has several functions and classes. So there are functions and there are classes within CSV available for reading, writing a CSV file, and they are include csv.reader, csv.writer, and csv.dictWriter. These are the different functions which are available in CSV library. To work with the CSV library, to read the CSV file or to write a CSV file, I need to import CSV. But be cautious, before importing, you have to go back to your command prompt and install the library. If it's installed, then come back here and import CSV. Now you need to read a file. So the file what is existing here, so the files what existing here, CSV files, you want to read it from the same location, and the file which I created, the csv.py and the file of CSV are both are in the same location. So I'm no need to give the path, entire path. In case if the CSV file is in different location, maybe I'm creating a script in the day 53 and the file is located in day 52. Those scenario, it is a mandatory you need to give entire path. Nothing but from C colon to the location where you have the file, enter path slash the file name .csv. So here in this situation 89 abc.csv, you enter path you have to give. Then what I'm doing here is I used a function called open to open a file, and I'm storing this function, entire function, in a variable called f1. So my first step is completed. Once you open, what kind of performance you want to do, action you want to do means I want to read the data whatever I have in CSV file. So this is my CSV file. So I have some data here, and this data I want to read it. So if I want to read it, there is a function called reader. So csv.reader. So my package name or a class name. So class name dot function name. So csv.reader in bracket the file name, the entire path, which whatever you open. So F1. So open. If you don't want to give in two different lines, just mention open in bracket the file name. Right now it's a very, both are in the same location, so you will not find that much lengthy. But in case if you data is in different location or different path which is a lengthy, it's preferable to save in a variable and refer that variable to reader. So the data whatever you read will be saved in X variable. Now y equal to list of X. So what is happening here means when you read it, so the class is going to be CSV reader, and when you're converting, it will be converted as a, when I'm trying to convert as a list and store it into Y. And when you want to display, I want each and every data to be displayed as a, what do you say, line by line. So I'm using a for loop to display line by line. When you use print of X, you can see everything displayed in a single line. And if you observe here, that object data also, every row is separated by list. That is the reason we use a list and store it into Y variable. And by using a for statement, I separated all the lines. Now there is another example. You can see here, import CSV by using a different way method. So the first one is open statement separately I created, then CSV reader I created, nothing but to read the statements. Then by using a first statement, I printed. Now in sync, do you have any alternative method? Means we have alternative method. So import CSV with open file name as a file. So nothing but the F1 statement only. So I'm calling open name.csv as a file name, alias name. Then it's a double colon colon I given. So within that one only I'm using reader statement. So reader equal to csv dot reader and the alias name file I'm using. Now by using a for statement, I can able to retrieve the data and display one after one. So you can see here, Ajay, Virat code, everything has been displayed one line after another line. In case if you see type of reader, it is going to be a list and it is going to be a reader object. Can I able to write some data? In the sense, we can able to write some data and update your CSV files as well. So there is no much difference. So by using write the data into CSV files, import CSV. So same CSV library we are going to use, and the data what I'm going to give is my data equal to within the list. Another list I'm creating. So within the list, another list is nothing but the sub list is nothing but one line. So my first line is going to be the column names. So first name, second name, and grade. My second list is going to be first row or first data. Ajay Kumar A, Virat Kohli B. So just given like that. So my file. So that is going to be my data where I stored it, and my file equal to open a file called example2.csv, or which I taken snap is nothing but sample one. So sample1.csv slash the mode what I want is a write. Earlier by default it was a read mode, so no need to be give R. But right now it is a mandatory that you have to give the mode, which mode you are trying to open that file. I should be in a position to update the value, so I'm giving in mode called W with my file. So the file whatever I've opened in a write statement, I am opening with an alias name called my file. Now within that, I'm trying to do csv.writer. Earlier csv.reader to read the file, but I want to do writer, and in bracket my file. Where is the my file? So I'm opening this file in a writer mode, and I'm writing different rows within that file. So x dot write rows in bracket my data. Data is nothing but the data which you want to be updated. Once you perform this, you want to be ensure the data is completed successfully. So print some user confirmation that the program is completed successfully. I just mentioned write complete. So when you execute in a Python environment, you can see write complete. In the location where you given, there you can find the file CSV file, and when you open that file, you can see the data looks like this. Any questions? Any questions on this?
No,
No.
And we have option called Dictractor. Dictractor is nothing but dictionary kind of concept will come to the picture. So earlier in the previous scenario, I just created a column names, then I created a row names, nothing but the actual data. But instead, you have another alternative method called Dictractor. So opening a file names, first name, last name, and grade. That is going to be field names, and writer csv.dictractor I'm using in bracket the CSV file where I refer the open statement, comma, field names equal to field names. So the field names here is going to be first name, last name, and grade. So the format or what I want is first name, last name, and grade. And I'm assuming only those three column names I have it. Now you can see here writer dot write header I'm using. So header I'm writing in the first step. Then writer dot write row, my first row I'm writing in a dictionary format. Grade I can write in the way I want because I'm using a dictionary. So grade B, first name Virat and last name Kohli. Though I'm writing in a different format in the different positions, first name, last name, and grade. When I'm opening the file, will follow first name, last name, and grade. And second row, third row, just update the values whatever you want. Then for user confirmation, I'm using writing complete. Now when you see user execute the Python code, you can see writing complete. And when you see Excel, you can see first name, last name, and grade, and the data whatever you updated. Every time writer dot write row. So don't you think that is going to be every time you need to write? To avoid that, you can use writer dot write rows. Yes. So here singular, here plural. So when you're using plural, you have to give one bracket, additional bracket. You can see there is only two brackets, open and close bracket and square bracket two for each row. So here there is a list. If you give like this, concept is same, no difference. The only one difference is no need to be write multiple times writer dot write rows. Writer dot write row. Writer dot write row. No need to be write for each and every row. Just write only once and make it as a list. System automatically consider these are nothing but the data. Any questions?
No.
So we will drop for the day, and tomorrow we'll discuss about Excel, how to read an Excel files. And do not worry, is it the same way we are going to work in reality? Means we have pandas and numpy. By using those things, we can able to complete. Okay. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Bye, Giri.
Next Tuesday.